Welcome to NACTV Reads the News. My name is Cathy McGrath, and I'm one of the many volunteers that help create programming for our station. NACTV can be seen on MTS Channel 30 or 1030, Westman Cable Channel 17, Bell Satellite Channel 592, or online at nactv.tv. These programs are made possible by our volunteers, staff, advertisers, as well as donations made by you, the viewers. If you are enjoying your NACTV experience, please consider supporting us by either donation or volunteering. You can contact our office at 204-476-2639 or at nactv@wcgwave.ca. Today's edition of the Neepawa Banner and Press is for Friday, July 22nd, 2022. And we start with an event that happened. Thank you for your service. Ceremony in Neepawa honors Lieutenant General Ray Crabbe by Owen Devereaux. It's a recognition that has been a long time coming for a former member of the Canadian military who has a strong connection to Neepawa. On Wednesday, July 13th, the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 23 held a commemorative cemetery at the cenotaph in front of the Beautiful Plains Community Court building. Along with honoring the anniversary of the War Memorial, which was first unveiled in 1922, it also was a celebration of the career of Lieutenant General retired Ray Crabbe. A few hundred people attended the event, which featured speeches and prayers at the cenotaph, followed by a celebratory parade to the Legion building. At the Legion, a commemorative portrait of Crabbe was then unveiled, which will be displayed within the building in perpetuity. And in the picture, you can see Agassiz MLA Eileen Clark has given the honor of presenting Lieutenant General Ray Crabbe with his commemorative portrait, which will hang proudly upon the wall at the Neepawa Legion building. Pleased and proud to be back in Neepawa. This local honor for Crabbe is well deserved. Born and raised in Neepawa, Crabbe would go on after graduating from the University of Manitoba to serve in the Canadian Army. After tours of duty in Cyprus and Germany, he climbed the ranks, with his most notable posting at the time being to the former Republic of Yugoslavia as the commander of the United Nations Protective Force. Crabbe would later be promoted to Lieutenant General and appointed Deputy Chief of Defense Staff at National Defense Headquarters. Before retiring from service in 1998, he would also spend time at a posting in Norfolk, Virginia with the United States Armed Forces Staff College. Post-military career, Crabbe is married, and he and his wife Brenda had 2 children and 4 grandchildren. He and his wife reside in East St. Paul, Manitoba. Speaking with the Banner and Press just before the unveiling of the commemorative portrait, Lieutenant General Crabbe noted just how grateful he was not only to be back home, but to be honored in this fashion. It's wonderful to be here, to finally be here. This has been scheduled on a few occasions, but for one reason or another, it had to be postponed. Having grown up here in Neepawa, I have a lot of friends that are here today to take part in this, and a lot of family, so I'm pleased to be here and proud to be here, said Lieutenant General Crabbe. I still call Neepawa my home and always have. Lieutenant General Ray Crabbe added that the commemoration of the Cenotaph's 100th made the day even more special, as it holds a special meaning for his family. Unveiling of the commemorative portrait. As for the presentation and reception at the Legion, it was presided over by Legion board member Harvey Ebner. He thanked everybody for their attendance and support of the Legion, and then invited Ray's brother, Darwin Crabbe, to say a few words. After sharing a few remarks and stories from Darwin, it was Ray's turn to speak. He thanked everyone for the support shown to him and his family throughout the years. He stated that they were fortunate to have grown up in Neepawa, a community that recognizes and respects what our forefathers did for future generations. Crabbe also shared a few funny but also poignant stories of his time in Neepawa and the military before accepting the honor on behalf of all those who have paved the way for him. The primary festivities before dinner would conclude with Agassiz MLA Eileen Clark presenting Lieutenant General Crabbe with his commemorative portrait. And the picture above is along with the commemoration for Ray Crabbe. The War Memorial Cenotaph at the beautiful Plains County Courthouse House was also celebrated, as this is the 100th year since its unveiling. And below, Lieutenant General Ray Crabbe is welcomed back to Neepawa by family, friends, and well-wishers. And then there's a close-up of the commemorative portrait. And Birnie celebration honors a 100-year memorial by Caspar Warren. The distinct sound of a bagpiper kicked off a special celebration in Birnie last weekend. On July 16th, the community and visitors gathered at 2 p.m. in clear, albeit hot, weather to commemorate the 100th birthday of the Memorial Park Gate. The gate had originally been unveiled to a crowd of over 700 people on April 30th in 1922, with plaques to honor those who had served World War I. Over the years, plaques for World War II and the Korean War were added. In the pictures, members of the Birnie Memorial Park Centennial Committee who worked to organize the 100th birthday. Left to right, Catherine Birch, Crystal Zakowski, Leanne Hanlon, Brent Hanlon, Bo Hanlon, the little boy, Norma Summers, Nicole Eden, Janet O'Donnell, Steve Olive, Tanis Clark, Maggie Zakowski, Cheryl McConnell, John McConnell, Crystal Summers, and Cheryl Wareham. The original celebration was to honor those lost, as well as the pioneer spirit of the community, said Rita Friesen, opening speaker for the 2022 celebration. People have worked hard to make sure that the site is still revered today. Norma Summers added, after the revival of the Birnie Community Club, they repainted the plaques, made picnic tables, planted flowers, and so much more. I am so thankful to all of them, to all the community members and volunteers who have worked for since a century to keep this site alive. Janet O'Donnell, who also spoke during the proceedings, noted that many are quite familiar with the gate. Older members of the community who went to school here will remember this gate quite well, said O'Donnell. Students will recall marching from the school to the gate for Remembrance Day service every year. Classes here made the march until about 1968. Catherine Birch followed with a reading of Martin Niemöller's First They Came. Rita Friesen with a scripture and prayer, as well as reading of the soldiers' names with Cheryl McConnell. After a moment of silence, Norma and Addison Summers read In Flanders Fields, and Bruce Bremer provided a tribute to the fallen. The ceremony concluded with the playing of God Save the Queen. However, the celebrations as a whole did not stop. All who attended enjoyed community activities such as pony rides, a bouncy castle, petting zoo, and a temporary museum of Birnie area memorabilia. The museum in particular had a variety of precious memories, ranging from photos of those who served to postal history, sports gear and trophies, gramophones, and more. The Birnie Community Club extends its thanks to all those who donated items for the temporary collection and who participated in the celebration for helping to make the day a special, memorable occasion. Manawaka Garden Party brings art and nature together. There's two pictures there. The inaugural Manawaka Garden Party, a fundraiser for the Margaret Lawrence Home, took place on Saturday, July 16th. The event featured art from nearly a dozen local artisans on display in beautifully landscaped gardens in and around Neepawa. Pictured is some of the artwork that was set up in Garden View Farm, the garden of Joe and Glenda McPhee. Above, paintings and acrylic pour art by Gwen Borella. Right, miniature landscape art by Megan Peters. And top, a variety of artwork by Jerry Nelson. Local writer relishes the challenge of writing first children's book by Owen Devereaux. And there's a picture, a new children's book called The Little Red Hen Who Couldn't Lay an Egg, was written by Darcy Friesen. And there's also illustrations by Jessica Wogelmuth. For Darcy Friesen, her book, The Little Red Hen Who Couldn't Lay an Egg, is the culmination of a lifelong dream. Now she's hoping that children across Western Manitoba will find inspiration and a positive message within its pages. With the assistance of illustrator Jessica J. Wogelmuth, Friesen recently completed work on her first children's book. The 40-page hardcover is the story of a hen named Lucy who couldn't lay an egg. The book then follows Lucy as she tries to deal with and overcome this dilemma through acceptance and friendship. 3 years in the making. While this project, from the initial idea to finished product, has been just 3 years in the making, Friesen's desire to express herself through the written word has been with her for as long as she can remember. I've always wanted to do something like this. I've been interested in writing for years, but never thought I had any story concept that would actually make a good story. Then I think it was about 3 years ago that I was just inspired and sat down to write this book. The inspiration, it just came out of the blue, and I was like, I think if I can find the right illustrator, this could be a good children's story, said Friesen. After learning about Jessica J. Wogemuth and her work in writing and illustration through a 2021 story in the Banner and Press, A Bunny with a Message from March 2021, Friesen said completion of the book became a realistic pursuit. She said working with Jessica on the visuals was a tremendous experience. A great early response. The book is just starting to gain some exposure across Western Manitoba, as Friesen has taken it to a few schools and libraries. She said the kids' reactions to it so far have been incredibly positive. Children love the story. I went to one school to do a reading, and those children were just sitting on the edge of their seats. They were so excited about it. It's been a lot of fun to go and share it with them, expressed Friesen. The initial release of the book will include 1,000 copies and can be purchased right now by emailing darcycrickettales@gmail.com. The retail price will be $24.95, plus any applicable taxes. Friesen is also exploring the option of self-publication through the Amazon Books website. And Home Buddies by Rita Friesen. And I promised. Tidying the garage, dusting the display shelf, I carefully cleaned the miner helmet that has been a part of my story for 35 years. It is battered, dented, and bears the name Pete. The old faded green battery pack is attached, and there is no light bulb. Way back in 1987, on vacation out to the East Coast, we stopped by the Spring Hill Mine Museum. It was mid-October, so the museum was closed. As we wandered about the site, a gentleman approached us. Engaging in conversation, he learned we were from the prairies, and we learned that he was a retired miner. More than that, he was one of the survivors of the infamous bump of 1958. Noting our genuine interest, he took a key from his pocket and allowed us into the building, the museum displays, but not the tunnels. As we looked, he talked and we listened. After an informative hour, we walked over to the shelf in the staff room, lifted down a helmet, including a battery, and handed it to us. Puzzled, we waited. Gaining composure, he told us the helmet was his. He was one of the tour guides at the museum. Now his health, miner's lung, no longer allowed him to work and not much longer to live. He asked that we take it home, remember him, and if possible, share the story. May it never be forgotten. The first recorded Spring Hill mine disaster was back in 1891. Fire from coal dust, 1,300 feet below the surface, killed 125 workers, some as young as 10 to 13. The explosion injured dozens more. Queen Victoria sent sympathy and aid. The second one was in 1957, more than 5,000 feet below the surface. Several train cars broke loose on the journey to the top. Rolling back, they derailed, cutting power lines and igniting the coal dust. 39 miners died, but heroic rescue efforts by fully geared and bare-faced workers saved 88 men. The one I remember, I was 12 at the time, was the Big Bump of 1958. Number 2 colliery, one of the deepest in the world, over 4,000 feet below the surface, experienced an under-the-sea earthquake. One of the reasons for the public awareness was that this was the first major international event that was televised on CBC. We had the reporters waiting, giving us the as-it-happened news. 70 men died, 99 were rescued, some after 8.5 days in total darkness, days without water or food, surrounded by the stench of decaying corpse. Pete shared of the despair of that darkness, that silence, that bond with the brotherhood. In quiet, conversational tones, he impressed upon us the effect of that disaster on individuals, families, and the community. Life in the community was never the same. The mine never reopened. As of 2015, the mine properties, among the deepest works in the world and filled with water, are owned by the government of Nova Scotia and provide Spring Hills Industrial Park with geothermal heating. Keeping my promise to Pete, I pause, reflect, and once again share some details. Thumbs up and thumbs down. Thumbs up to Harvey Ebner and the Neepawa Legion board members for recognizing the career and accomplishments of the former Neepawa resident, Lieutenant General Ray Crabbe. Thumbs up to the Gladstone Plumas Pirates under-18 baseball team who won the under-18 Manitoba AA Championship in Brandon on Sunday. This team has provided the spectators with good and entertaining ball throughout the years. Congratulations. Thumbs up to Murray McDonald and Brady McLeod for changing my tire on the Brookdale Road on Thursday. This random act of kindness was greatly appreciated. And there's a note here, looking for photos. The Neepawa Banner and Press is looking for photographs to include in its 2022 Remembrance Day section. If anyone has photographs of people from within the paper's coverage area who served, please do send a copy via email to newsroom@neepawapress.com. Alternatively, stop by our office at 423 Mountain Avenue with the original so that we can make a copy. Please include all available details such as who is pictured, where they are from, and what branch or group they were a member of. Any stories related to these individuals are also welcome. To provide enough time for the section to be put together, please have all entries submitted by October 1st. Applications still open for the FoodCycler pilot project by Kira Patterson. Anyone in Neepawa looking for a way to divert waste from landfills has a great opportunity still available. The deadline has been extended for Neepawa residents to apply to be part of the town's FoodCycler pilot project. The program, which was approved by Town Council on April 5th, has made 100 FoodCycler appliances available at a discounted price for local residents who would be willing to test out the product and complete 3 surveys over a 12-week period. A FoodCycler is an appliance about the size of a bread maker, which people can put their household food waste into, and it will process the food waste to create compost fertilizer. The FoodCycler reduces the volume of the waste by about 90% after 4 to 6 hours of processing. For those not into gardening, the processed waste can go into the garbage, with the reduced volume meaning less waste goes into the landfill. The program has been open for applications since early April, with an original deadline of July 11th. However, there are still FoodCyclers available, so the town has reopened applications to give residents another opportunity to participate in the program. The regular price of a FoodCycler is approximately $500. For those participating in the program, they would be able to purchase one for only $175 plus tax. After the 12-week pilot program, those who purchased a FoodCycler through the program will be able to keep the appliance to use in their household. I'm surprised they didn't go before the deadline. I thought they would go really quick, stated Mayor Blake McCutcheon, but I still think it's a great idea. I think it would work well. Marilyn Crew, the Economic Development Officer from Neepawa, was one who brought this program to the attention of Town Council. What we want from the project is the data, she explained. Once the town has that information, it shows by household how much waste could be diverted by a composting program. So if we feel this is really successful, then it could be that we then look at what our options are for a residential compost program in Neepawa. A composting program would not only reduce the amount of waste going to the landfill, but it could also save the town money as they pay Evergreen Environmental by the weight of what's brought to the landfill. And you can see there's a picture of FoodCycler takes household food waste and processes it down into compost soil in a few hours. Who knows, maybe it's something a year from now, 2 years from now, where it will benefit the taxpayer, added McCutcheon. In addition to the 100 FoodCyclers available for households, the town is also receiving 10 that will be available for non-profit organizations in Neepawa. Anyone interested in being part of the pilot project can fill out a form that can be found on the town's website, neepawa.ca, under the Residents tab. Alternatively, people can call the town office at 204-476-7600 for more information on applying. Organizations interested in testing out the FoodCycler can also call the town office. And there's one, a Gladstone-based theatre group prepares to celebrate 150 years of Manitoba. This was submitted by HI Productions. HI Productions, a community-based theatre group, have spent the past few months busily preparing to perform a celebration of Manitoba history, Our Manitoba, an original play by local resident Kelvin Buchert. The plan was to perform this show in 2020 in honor of Manitoba's 150th. However, as you may have heard, a few things came up that prevented us from performing back then, said playwright and director Kelvin Buchert. Still, I'm thankful that we can perform this show now. We need these messages of community more than ever, it seems. I've also been getting the sense that people could use a laugh. Although this play deals with Manitoba history, it certainly isn't without humor. Also, Veronica Casagay, a member of our local Filipino community, will perform some musical numbers to open the show. I know I'm looking forward to that. With that said, bring the family and check out the show. It'll be fun. Show is August 20th, 7:30 at Stride Hall in Gladstone. Tickets available at Heart and Soul Balance in Gladstone or online at www.rmb.brownpapertickets.com. Westlake-Gladstone secures fresh funds for new swimming pool and facilities. Construction to begin this August, open June 2023 by Casper Warren. And there's a picture. This time last year, the above image of the proposed layout of Gladstone's new swimming pool was released. A brand new outdoor recreation venue will soon begin construction in Gladstone. Weighing in with the total price tag of $1.25 million, the municipality of Westlake-Gladstone announced via media release that Western Recreation has retained to build a new outdoor heated swimming pool. As well, that Elwood McCrory has been awarded the construction of the new pool house. These facilities will replace the existing over 50-year-old facility that is beyond its useful life and on the verge of being closed permanently, said the municipality. It will include a walk-in entry for beginners, a lazy river, diving board, mushroom spray unit, and a water slide, if funds allow. They added, the new facility will continue to offer all of the same programs that the existing pool offers, such as swimming lessons for all ages and private rentals. The current schedule has this August booked as the beginning of construction, with the new facility expected to open as early as June 2023. The Westlake-Gladstone Council said in its release that it recognizes that swimming is not a hobby, but a life skill. We are very honored to continue to offer the opportunity to residents and visitors of all ages, said Westlake-Gladstone. This project was the goal of the elected council of 2018, and the administrative team has worked diligently in applying for grants and investments for this new facility, and that is why we are at the construction stage only 3 years later. Westlake-Gladstone will be receiving $425,000 as part of a release of $10.8 million in funding from Prairie Economic Development Canada. This was announced on June 10th in support of Manitoba Tourism and Recreation by Terry Duguid, Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Environment and Climate Change, on behalf of the Honourable Daniel Vandal, Minister responsible for PrairiesCan. The municipality also precisely was rewarded funds through the Province of Manitoba Building Sustainable Communities BSC grant, amounting to $300,000. However, donations are still being welcomed by the municipality, as they are required for extras such as the water slide, pool house, and landscaping. If any businesses or individuals are interested in donating towards the project, they are asked to visit the municipal website at www.westlake-gladstone.ca. And an in-person version of the fair returning to Gladstone. Pictured as one of the floats from the 2019 Gladstone Fair Parade. This parade will once again be part of the festivities at this year's fair by Kira Patterson. The Gladstone Fair is back this summer, bringing people together in person once again. For 2 years, the fair had been limited to only a parade and takeout meals, but this year they will have all kinds of activities planned for everyone to enjoy. The fair is slated to run from Friday, August 5th to Sunday, August 7th. Tara Fulton of the Gladstone Agricultural Society noted that while the event is typically run by the Ag Society, this year it's coming together with the combined efforts of the Gladstone Chamber of Commerce, Westlake-Gladstone Recreation, and the Ag Society. Fulton noted that because COVID-19 had created uncertainties during the planning process, they decided not to bring in the bull riding this year, but they have lots of other activities, including a barrel racing competition on Friday. Also on the schedule will be a fundraising breakfast each day for a different organization, a kids parade and the classic parade, slow pitch and basketball tournaments, a street dance, and an outdoor movie. Saturday evening will also feature the Ag Society pork loin supper, which will require pre-ordering. There are a few new items in this year's fair that Fulton noted she hopes will be well received. On Saturday, during the parade, they will have a cookie and lemonade stand set up, fundraising for a local girl, Kendall Walker, who is currently battling cancer. On Sunday, they plan to have a showcase of local pandemic projects. Fulton stated that there were a lot of people who picked up new hobbies or started new projects during the pandemic to keep themselves busy. And this showcase is intended to let the hobbyists show off what they worked on throughout lockdowns. Something new I'm excited about and hope is going to go well in the Happy Rock Restaurant Challenge, Fulton added. This event will be leading up to the Gladstone Fair, taking place from July 29th to August 5th. Inspired by Burger Wars competitions held in other communities, this event involves 5 local restaurants that have all come up with a featured burger or sandwich. People can go and try all these specials throughout the week and then vote on their favorite, which will be crowned the winner at the fair. The participating restaurants are Lickety Splits, Mum's Kitchen, Gladstone Bakery, Gladstone Golf and Country Club, and the Gladstone Tim Hortons. We want everybody to get their hunger on and try all the specials at these restaurants, Fulton expressed. She added that the organizers are all very excited to be able to get the fair back to in-person events. I hope everybody takes the opportunity to come out, she said, and I hope we've covered all the bases to have something for everybody. To register for the slow pitch or basketball tournaments, people can contact Rec Director Jalynn Funk at the Westlake-Gladstone Municipal Office by August 1st. Tara Fulton can be contacted to pre-order for the pork loin supper, also with the deadline of August 1st. Anyone interested in displaying their pandemic projects can also contact Fulton. Otherwise, just show up and enjoy the fair. Looking back. 1962, Neepawa Summer Fair draws in Portage competitors, and pictured is Elmer Greenslade and his Angus herd from Portage La Prairie were drawn to the Neepawa Summer Fair in 1962. Greenslade had competed in past years as well and was determined to put his hat in the ring again. While there were people angry for the top spots, Greenslade came away with his fair share of ribbons and championships. Featured back left is Judge James Kello. By Casper Warehan. 110 years ago, 1912, a Canadian woman interested in immigration states that the statement that wives are needed in the Canadian West has been a great drawback in securing desirable women settlers. Rosedale voters list for 1912 contains 917 names as compared with 972 in 1911. Ward 6 is the only one in which there is an increase, all the others being less. 100 years ago, 1922. Franklin, a lot could be said right here about the infractions of the herd law, but that's enough. But enough's enough. However, this law was drafted to protect, and protect it must, or it is useless. Norman Lambert, Secretary of the Canadian Council of Agriculture, has resigned that office to accept the vice presidency of the Maple Leaf Milling Company. 90 years ago, 1932, Birnie, Helen McCracken of Oak Leaf School, and Alice Ennis of Big Valley both passed their entrance exams. 80 years ago, Thursday, 1942, crashing in the field of John Shack, 6 miles northwest of Eden, Sergeant Instructor Clifford Moyer was instantly killed and his student pilot seriously injured. The accident, the first one of the local airport to claim a life, was first seen by Mr. Check, T. Kasprick, and J. Baraniak. These men hurried to the scene and removed the injured student, rushing him to Dr. Bug at Eden. Mr. Osborne of Eden took the body of Sergeant Moyer to Neepawa. Kelwood. Mrs. William Spratt received a telegram on July 14th through the Air Ministry, Ottawa, confirming the early report that Sergeant Harry Spratt was a prisoner of war somewhere in Germany. 70 years ago, 1952, Dr. John Friesen, formerly of Herbert, Saskatchewan, recently came to Neepawa, where he is practicing dentistry in the Churchill Block. Neepawa General Insurance agents are offering a financial protection against polio to families and individuals of Neepawa District. 60 years ago, 1962, There was more competition for Elmer Greenslade and his Angus herd from Portage at the Neepawa Summer Fair this year than in past years, but he still managed to capture his share of ribbons, including some championships. 50 years ago, 1972, over 570 guests signed the visitors book at the official opening of the new Bank of Montreal on Saturday afternoon, July 15th. Manager Des George welcomed the visitors to the ceremonies and to the new bank, of which he said, "I am proud to be the manager." 40 years ago, 1982, protests are mounting this week over a policy which banned motorboats on Lake Irwin. The Neepawa Wildlife Association presented petitions signed by more than 100 people to the RM of Langford Council. Names are still being added, said President Fred Topolinski. The association also plans to approach Neepawa Town Council next Tuesday, July 27th. 30 years ago, 1992, effective last Monday, the Thorne brothers, Jerry and Bill, took over the Ford dealership and will be operating under the name TNT Ford Sales of Neepawa. 20 years ago, 2002, Neepawa's 7th annual Lily Festival will carry on next year with one major difference. For the first time since its inception, Eleanor Nicholson won't be at its helm. Although she will no longer serve as president of the organization, Nicholson said she will remain involved, serving on the various committees needed to stage the annual event. Unique Styles Converge at Arts Forward by Casper Warehan. And pictured above are Shannon Desjardins left and Gwen Borella right, whose art makes up Double Take, the figure, exhibit as Arts Forward. A gala opening was held on July 14th, with visitors having the opportunity to meet and converse with them. Pictured right, Life Gets Messy by Shannon Desjardins. This was her take on a portrait of fellow artist and friend Gwen Borella. Gwen Borella also had her own portrait of Shannon Desjardins on display as part of the collaborative exhibit. And below, Lost in Her Eyes by Gwen Borella. This piece is painted on a massive canvas, capturing the visage of Marilyn Monroe in vivid color. Borella told the Banner Press that she puts a particular emphasis on an individual's eyes in her paintings, as well creating texture through a variety of methods. One tool she used to create the texture in this is a piece of paper towel. Bold colors and textures, memories captured, breathing with a new and vibrant life. Both have been making their home at Neepawa's Arts Forward since July 1st for Double Take, the figure exhibit. Painted by Gwen Borella and Shannon Desjardins, the works featured are a variety of portraits and stories, given form through the acrylic and oil paints, respectively. They were given a special highlight at a gala opening on July 14th at 7 p.m. Borella and Desjardins, who were present for the event, shared that the key pieces of the collaborative exhibit were the portraits they did of each other in their own styles. From there, it branches out to a variety of subjects and canvases of different sizes. Pieces, large or small, could all take anywhere from 8 hours to a year or more to complete. It all depends on inspiration, motivation. Some paintings can come together in no time at all, said Desjardins. The triptych barn, the one that took over a year for sure. That particular painting was also a very special case. Desjardins had been contacted to paint the barn as a commission, the problem being the barn was no longer standing and there were no photos available. She came to me with a tea towel and it had set dimensions and it needed to be, Desjardins explained, so it was using what she was able to give me and figuring out how to make it work in that space. But it was really the stories that she told me that made it come together and come to life. For Borella, she favors showing the artistic process, mistakes and all. It starts abstractly. I can start with texture or color. My Marilyn painting, I started with the texture there using paper towel, Borella enthused. I got the figure going and put emphasis on the eyes. I leave in pencil lines on my drawings, even things I tried to remove. The eyelashes on Marilyn, I'd put them in and then tried to wipe them away. Borella got her start as an artist when she was just a kid. From a young age, she was also drawing something, whether it was from a magazine, a book. Then she got into watercolors in the 80s with mixed media and acrylics following soon after. Some of my acrylic paintings, they're all with just the palette knife. There's a lot of different techniques you can use, both for my medium and for Shannon's, said Borella. Like fingers, they're great for getting in there and shading. For Desjardins, her start came much later. Her very first drawing was done in 2001 while visiting her sister. I was going to help her clean her house and her kids were there drawing at the table and she said, "No, just draw and talk to me." That's what I did. Desjardins laughed. From there I've used tools like watercolors and pastels before getting into oils. Anyone who has yet to see this collaborative exhibit still has a chance to. Double Take will remain at Arts Forward until the end of the month. Manitoba Agricultural Society Fair. There's a number of pictures here. It was returned for form for the Manitoba Agricultural Society as it held its annual fair on Saturday, July 16th and Sunday, July 17th. The 2020 and 2021 events were each canceled due to COVID-19. This year they made up for that lost time with many features, including a light horse show, as well as the draft and heavy horse show. The display building also showcased an array of horticulture-related displays. These pictures by Owen Devereaux. And now we come to sports. Ron Cornell wins Minnedosa Senior Open by Owen Devereaux. A solid effort on the final few holes propelled Ron Cornell to top tier at the Minnedosa Golf and Country Club's MGCC 2022 Senior Open. The Brandonites scored a solid 74 plus 2 on the course on Monday, July 18th to claim the championship flight. Cornell and Jamie Stone, who finished in second place, both shot 74 for the day. The event winner was decided through the countback system. A countback compares the player's scores over a range of holes, starting with the back 9 holes. The scores are compared and the best score wins. If players are still tied, the scores are compared using the next criteria. This repeats until the order of tied players has been found. The flight results include champion flight, first place Ron Cornell, 74, second place Jamie Stone, 74, third place Dan Bailey, 78. Second flight, first place Ron Reed, 85, second place Jeff McManus, 85, third place Kevin Quinnell, 85. Third flight, first place Brett Younger, 90, second place Jim Dowsett, 90, third place Bill Johnson, 90. Fourth flight, first place Don Evenson, 96, second place Grant McKelvey, 96, third place Grant Babcock, 96. The next major event for the Minnedosa Golf and Country Club was the Senior Ladies Open, which was scheduled for July 21st. The MGCC Championship will take place August 6th and 7th. And Hot Bats power Plumas Pirates to win over Neepawa Cubs. There's a picture of Plumas batters powered the Pirates to an impressive 14-6 win over the Neepawa Cubs on Tuesday by Owen Devereaux. The weather isn't the only thing that's been hot as of late, as the Plumas Pirates are heating up at the plate at just the right time. The team scored an impressive 14 runs on Tuesday, July 19th, on their way to a 14-6 win over the Neepawa Cubs. The victory gives the Pirates a 1-0 series lead over Neepawa in this semi-final series. The game stats were unavailable before the Banner and Press publication deadline. The win also continued Plumas' tremendous playoff run, as they had swept the Austin A's in a play-in series 2-0. The next game in the Neepawa Plumas series will be played on Wednesday, July 27th in Neepawa. Game 3, if necessary, will follow on Friday, July 29th in Plumas. In the other Santa Clara League semifinal series, the Portage Padres completely overpowered the Carberry Royals 16-1. As of the Banner and Press publication deadline, no dates for games 2 or 3 in that series had yet been announced. Top 15 overall finish for Delaloi at Manitoba Junior Championships by Owen Devereaux. A solid 3 rounds of golf propelled Neepawa's Hayden Delaloi to a top 15 finish overall in the 100th annual Manitoba Junior Boys Championship. The teen golfer, who competes out of the Neepawa Golf and Country Club, shot a combined total of 234, plus 18, over the course of the 3-day event, which was held in Winnipeg. He shot a round of 81 on the first day, a 75 on day 2, and a 78 for the third and final round. Those numbers placed Delaloi in 6th place tie in the 15 to 16 age category. Grady Chuback of the St. Charles Country Club, who was the host of the tournament, won the age group. The overall championship was won by Braxton Kunst of the Breezy Bend Country Club, who shot a 3-day total of 203, 67, 72, and 64. This is the second straight year that the 18-year-old has won the honor. Delaloi finished 15th in the overall standings out of a field of 55 golfers from across the province. The Beef is Back, submitted by the Manitoba Youth Beef Roundup. Manitoba Youth Beef Roundup is back. We couldn't be more excited, with Manitoba hosting a number of junior shows this summer. We are humbled and thankful that the juniors choosing to participate in our event. From Saturday, July 30th to Monday, August 1st, the beautiful Plains Ag Society will be home to 50 enthusiastic juniors under the age of 25 and up and coming industry leaders. The Roundup Committee prides this show for its friendly competition, skill building workshops, and laying the foundation for industry connections. Whether you are a commercial, purebred, 4-H, or new junior, are welcome to attend. For those wanting to check out our event, youth development workshops will take place throughout Saturday and Sunday. Events hosted will be the new Stock Dog Clinic with the Berry Biermersch and AI Clinic judging clinics for multiple species, as well as competitions such as team grooming, team judging, public speaking, and the famous fun-filled cook-off. The cattle conformation classes and showmanship will take place Monday, with showmanship starting at 10 a.m. and conformation starting at 1 p.m. This is followed by a fantastic supper. We encourage you to come by and check it out, and who knows, maybe next year you will take part in the fun-filled weekend that is Manitoba Youth Beef Roundup. Please note this is our 15th year hosting this event. We've had incredible sponsors from day one, and we'd like to thank them for all they do. It wouldn't be possible without them. See you July 30th to August 1st in Neepawa, Manitoba. Heads up, look who's back home. A positive end this week to a situation in Minnesota involving a recently vandalized piece of art. The sculpture outside Inspire's studio on Main Street, aptly named Art, had been damaged and its head taken. Fortunately, Marlise Soltis, owner of Inspire Studio and creator of Art, shared on social media that the head has been returned. In her post, Soltis thanked the perpetrator for stepping up and ultimately doing the right thing. She also thanked the community for the outpouring of kindness during the ordeal. Carberry North Cyprus Langford Joint Council meeting by Gladwin Scott. Excerpts from the June Joint Council meeting at the NCI Council chambers with Reeve Adrianson in the chair. Discussed transfer station issues. Rollout bins are emptied 3 times weekly due to contractors' use, to be further discussed at the next meeting. Discussed backup community hall generator. A 60 kilowatt unit may be obtained. Granted use of the old town hall basement free of charge for Ukrainian folks meetings and training. Discussed duties of weed supervisor. Summer camp staff and students complete. Splash pad fundraiser was 4,000 donations in memory of Kalina Green worth 3,000. The Health Action Committee met with the Prairie Mountain CEO Brian Schoenberg to solve some issues. The fire department served 770 breakfasts. Paint, aerosols, and batteries can be left at the transfer station. New handy van rates have increased to 70 cents per kilometer. Trips to Brandon and Neepawa are 50. To Winnipeg is 200, and in town is $6 to $8. COVID-19 vaccine availability expanded to children 6 months to 4 years. Canada Health is expanding COVID-19 vaccine eligibility to include children ages 6 months to 4 years. This follows federal approval of the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine for children in this age group, as well as clinical guidance from the National Advisory Committee on Immunization, NACI. There are approximately 76,700 children in Manitoba in this age group. Vaccine suppliers will initially be limited with 14,900 doses in the first delivery. As a result, Manitoba is prioritizing the vaccine for children who have certain medical conditions, including chronic lung disease, airway abnormalities, congenital or chronic heart or circulatory diseases, moderately to severely immunocompromised due to a medical treatment or disorder, medical condition or treatment, neurological disorders, including developmental delay, diabetes, chronic kidney disease, or any chronic disease related to premature birth, or our First Nations, Inuit, or Métis, regardless of where they live. The vaccine is a 2-dose series, and the recommended interval between doses is 8 weeks. Parents and caregivers of eligible children can begin booking appointments on Monday, July 25th at 8 a.m. using the online vaccine finder or through the vaccine call center at 1-844-626-8222. Here and There by Gladwin Scott. Carberry Collegiate is in the process of creating an outdoor classroom at the southeast corner of the school. The 20 by 30 foot cement base has been constructed under the guidance of staff members Gary Salmon and Scott Brown. Financial support for the new classroom is from the Youth in Philanthropy and the Carberry and Area Community Foundation. A pergola will be added to protect the students from the elements and will be completed this summer. Each R.J. Waugh classroom took ownership of their own flower box this spring. They planned what would go in their box: flowers, vegetables, shrubs. Their teacher purchased the plants, and together they planted and maintained their boxes. Enjoy the beautiful creations all summer long. If you happen to pass by in July or August, stop in and pull some weeds or deadhead some flowers. The Carberry Elks number 466 want to thank all who supported them during the 2022 Fair Days by working in the booth during the 3 days, attending the Sunday breakfast, and purchasing tickets on the utility shed, won by Jeff Davidson of Carberry. Thanks also to Cutright Meats Carberry, McCain's Carberry, Simplot Portage, Spud City Food Mart Carberry, and Acadia Colony Carberry for their tremendous support. Special thanks to Tanya, Anastasia, and Natasha, the 3 ladies from Ukraine, who worked all 3 days in the booth. In Prairie Mountain Golf League action, Dauphin has dropped out and Carberry will host Glenbrook in their final game. The top 4 teams will play off in Manitoba during late July. As a longtime sports enthusiast, I was disappointed to learn that the Santa Clara League All-Stars had withdrawn from the Provincial Senior All-Star Tournament in Morden, July 15th to 17th. The organizers had to change the draw from 6 to 4 teams, with the winner qualifying for the 2023 Westerns. This tournament's issues have been ongoing, with quality players opting out and teams wanting to rest their pictures for league playoffs. Maybe the tournament is now redundant. British Columbia never plays unless it's in BC. The Stonewall Blue Jays Winnipeg League went to Nanaimo and Victoria, but BC never showed when Stonewall hosted. BC also did not come to Boulder when they hosted and won the Westerns. Yet Derek Jones was the MVP when the Regals Border West won out in Peace River. Just ask Mike Johnson, who drove the Hutterite van for the Regals to Peace River. As a longtime organizer, I was more interested in participation than shutting down more than 30 teams in mid-July. Hopefully the Neepawa Cubs and the Santa Clara League pennant winners, who are allowed to pick up 3 to 4 players, will put on a good show at Rivers August 5th to 7th at the Provincials. Santa Clara League's playoffs are underway as Portage Padres played the Carberry Royals July 18th and 20th, while Neepawa meets Plumas on the other semifinal. Plumas eliminated Austin in 2 straight games, 6-5 and 3-0. And Norgate History, Part 3. Community Fellowships and Activities. Pictured above, the Norgate Young People's Group from the late 1930s. And there's a number of names in there. There's a few unknown, but they covered quite a few, by Casper Warren. A key part to any community are its fellowship groups and the activities that go on with it. One group in particular that may be of interest is the Norgate Beef Ring. According to the 1987 McCreary Milestones and Memories, MMM book, members of the Norgate community built a slaughterhouse near the creek on what was Irwin McLeod's property. This occurred in around 1920 and is lauded as creative and cooperative community solution that addressed an issue faced in those times. The beef ring allowed for rural residents to enjoy fresh meat from mid-May through mid-October, despite not having refrigeration. Along with having all the fittings needed for butchering, cooling, and cutting, each beef ring member had a box with their name on it placed on a shelf. Those boxes were rotated weekly to assure that each member had every cut of a half beef during the season. Each beef ring member would donate a 2-year-old animal, with that donor being entitled to specific cuts. These were the heart, liver, and tongue. Everything was kept track of, with books being tallied at the end of the season. Members who received more meat than they contributed would be charged the difference, and those that received less than they contributed would be paid. The butcher for the Norgate Beef Ring was Frank Hill, who held the position for 8 seasons. He was provided assistance at some point by his son Les. Ladies' Aids and Activities. One of the other groups noted in the MMM was the Ladies' Aid. Originally, it was an affiliation of the Norgate Church and was created for the purpose of church support and fellowship. Quilting was one of the favorite pastimes of those involved and served as a fundraising project for 40 years. That purpose was cast aside with the closing of the church in 1966, but still remained in 1907 as the Friendship Club. A young people's group was also formed sometime in the 1930s. It welcomed all denominations and was operated for 10 years, containing 40 or more members. General outdoor activities also had a home. Norgate had an open-air skating rink in a treed shelter, which was located a half-mile west of Norgate Corner. This rink was replaced by another, positioned south of the village elevator along the railway. These rinks were a hot spot for activity in the 20s and 30s, with baseball, tennis, and softball also being a common sight in the summer months. Pie and box socials were also popular for evening entertainment. For a while, there was also a place to host events indoors. In 1948, the community decided the Memorial Hall should be built for the community. Norgate had 52 men and women who went off to war, 12 of which did not return. Money was raised and construction began in the spring of 1949. It was completed that summer, and all activities previously having to be held in the church or school were able to make their home here instead. However, once the church closed, the need for the hall also declined greatly. As a result, it was moved to Kelwood in July of 1979 to be used as a drop-in center under the provision that any Norgate residents would have a permanent membership there. Rotary makes a donation for Neepawa Middle School play structure. Pictured below, the Neepawa Notary Club recently made a contribution to the Neepawa Middle School's Parent Advisory Council for the new play structure that was built at the middle school. Pictured from right, Rotarian Wayne Jacobson presented a check for $2,500 to PAC members Heather Sackett and Liesl Milligan, while the PAC has raised enough to cover the cost of the main structure of the playground. Sackett noted there are more expenses that additional donations, such as Rotaries, will help pay for. And on this side, on the right, Camp Day at Tim Hortons. Neepawa Tim Hortons celebrated Camp Day on Wednesday, July 13th, with 100% of proceeds from hot and iced coffee going to support Tim Hortons Foundation. Camps. Pictured above, in front of the restaurant, volunteers from the local branches of the BMO and Stride Credit Union manned the draw table where they were raising some extra money for the cause. And that concludes the news for Friday, July 22nd, 2022. Thank you for listening.